I am Judy Ancusi from BE Ed 2B of Prince of Peace College, Incorporated. I am here to show how I use instructional materials on my presentations. I use two different instructional materials in this video presentation. The first one is the Canva, and the second one is the CapCut. Instructional materials includes any tools as teacher uses in his classroom to help foster learning. It is also a constitute alternative channels of communication. We have the digital and non-digital instructional materials. And as you can see, I am using the digital instructional materials. So now, let's go to my chosen topic, which is the specialized structures of terrestrial aquatic plants. Terrestrial of aquatic plants. Adaptation of terrestrial and aquatic plants is generally dependent on their structures. Bigger leaves and roots, thorns and hairs, and long hollow stems are some of the specialized structures that play an important part in them to adapt to a particular environment. Just like humans and animals, plants are alive. How do we know this? Living things like plants all exhibit certain things. 1. They are made up of cells. 2. They need energy, nutrients, air, and water. 3. They grow and die. 4. They produce their young. And 5th, they react to what is around them. Just like animals, plants do have their own way of adapting to their environment. Plants can adapt to a wide variety of habitats. Some adapt to live on land while others live in water. All bears on their characteristics. Plants exist in different sizes, shapes, and color, but most of them share similar characteristics. They are found almost everywhere, living and surviving in different environmental conditions. Plants have lived on land or in water habitats, and their adaptation like individual and animals around. Plants also adapt to their environment for survival. Survival means the struggle to remain living and the ability to cope with the demands of the living environment or natural habitat. There are certain conditions that plants need in order to live and survive. These conditions are: number 1, plants must have a sufficient supply of light, water, soil, and air. 2, plants must be able to protect themselves from human and other animals. 3, plants must be resilient to changing environment as they cannot easily transfer position. The variation of plants primarily depends on their natural home or habitat. The ways they adapt in order to survive and live vary, too, based on their special features and characteristics. Specialized structure of terrestrial and aquatic plants. We have desert plants. The desert plants is a very dry and often hot place for plants to live in. In this type of habitat, the plants are exposed to extremely hot temper and drought conditions. Winds are often strong. The soil is often sandy or rocky and unable to hold much water. There is a lot of direct sunlight shining, and the rest of the year is very dry. Temperature grassland or prairie plants. Temperature grasslands or prairie plants are exposed to two kinds of weather condition: the hot summer and the cold winter. Rainfall is uncertain, but drought is common. Its soil is extremely rich in organic materials, which in return enriches the soil. Tropical rainforest plants. In this type of habitat, plants grow rapidly and quickly using organic materials left behind by decomposing plants and animals. There is a great amount of diversity plants species found in the rainforest. Their adaptations are characterized as follows. Temperature rainforest plants. The temperature rainforest plants receive a lot of rainfall. The dominant plant species seen in this type of habitat are the large evergreen trees. Trees can grow very tall in this very moist environment. Cool temperatures lead to slow decomposition, but some of them live on other plants to reach the sunlight. These plants are called epiphytes. Mosses and ferns leaves stop other plants to reach sunlight. Temperature deciduous forest plants. A temperate deciduous forest is made of a layer of plants that depend on certain factors such as climate, soil, and the age of forest. Fallen dry leaves, twigs, and other dried plants parts usually cover the ground, decompose, and help add nutrients to topsoil that make the plants healthier. Many trees have thick barks to protect against cold water. Wildflowers grow on the forest floor while deciduous trees drop their leaves to minimize water loss. Tundra plants. In a tundra habitat, plants' life is dominated by mosses, grasses, and sedges. A little plant diversity is seen due to a year-round cold temperature. Mostly, tuned plants are low-growing, covered with hair-like structures, and are seen in clumps to help conserve heat. They are usually small and low-growing due to lack of nutrients. Taiga plants. The taiga plants is mostly dominated by conifers, most of which are evergreen. It has cold winters and hot summers. The soil is acidic and minerals are poor. The shape of many coniferous trees helps shed heavy snow to save branches from breaking. Many trees have needle-like leaves with a waxy coating that prevents excessive water evaporation. And last, aquatic plants. Many aquatic plants can survive with a minimum water supply. The dead or dried out material is sufficient enough for a new plants to grow once a water is available.